Have you seen an effect on your business when it comes to all of these fears of outbreaks and people maybe eating less greens?
Well, I think we're certainly seeing that people are eating a little bit less greens as they sort of process the information that's been happening, and as it gets pushed up into the news cycle through things like Taylor Farms' announcement today, that doesn't help. But at the end of the day, I think that consumers want to eat salads, and they're starting to eat them more than they were just a few weeks ago at the beginning of the outbreak.
I did tell David that I'm just fearless or maybe irresponsible, and I still do.
Or just
eat
a salad
salads.
fan.
Yeah, maybe. It's summer. But I want to talk about your business because you've gone from one rooftop greenhouse in Brooklyn to more than 40 acres nationwide. What to you is the biggest unlock to maybe making indoor farming at scale work?
So we now have 12 greenhouses around the country.
Oh, wow.
In nine different states, and that's actually part of the unlock to make indoor controlled environment agriculture work, is to be close to the locations where consumers are shopping. That's one of the benefits of indoor greenhouse growing, is that it doesn't travel thousands of miles to get to consumers' doors, and that gives a fresher product, a more beautiful product, and something that we're really excited about. And I think it will play a role in this nation's food security and food availability over time.
I was saying before we started talking with you, I live very near to one of your facilities and have marveled at it up on the roof of a Whole Foods in Brooklyn, New York. And I'm curious how replicatable that is across the country. So I think of what you've done here is a real test case. But when you think about the future of farming, how much is it going to look like what I see here in Brooklyn?
Well, about 10 years ago, leafy greens in particular, which I can talk to, was about less than 1% of the leafy greens business in the U.S. And today it's about 8%, and we're on our way to 10. So I think as a component of the overall food network, we're on our way to being a substantial part of it. And I think it is replicable, but you have to do the things that we do, which is be close to where consumers are shopping, to be local, to have beautiful looking stuff, and to have things that have great shelf life, both in the store and in consumers' homes.
I want to go back to these outbreaks that we're dealing with, and I'm just curious how it affects the way that you approach your business. So I'll say here, you haven't had problems with this. I think Sweet Green was kind of wrestling with this as well. They haven't had problems, but had to mention it on their earnings call because of a decline in demand in these recent weeks. How does something like this kind of affect the way that you pursue food safety, what you have to emphasize to the public? I'm curious if it's an opportunity or a moment when a company like yours has to kind of present to the public more information about the way that you keep food safe and the processes that you have in place.
Well, we certainly have ramped up the communication around the things that we do at Gotham Greens in order to keep our products safe and tasting great for consumers. It's never good for an industry to have an outbreak like this, and it does cause consumers to have some concern about the products they're buying in the stores. And so what we've tried to do is just to say, look, we have controlled environment structures where we treat them almost like a tech facility or a food manufacturing facility, where we have hand washing protocols, we have netting, we have hair netting, we have exit protocols on how to wash your hands. We have filtered water coming into the facilities. We have controlled humidity. We use a certain nutrient set when we do water the plants. And so our mission has really been to talk about those things, and not so much anything else.
So you have thousands of locations right now. When you analyze your consumers, why do they buy your products? Is it because it's better for the planet, or the product is better, or maybe both?
If I had the exact answer to that, it would be amazing, right? I think consumers all have different motivations to buy our products, but I think the things that are relatively consistent are it's local. So they know it's grown nearby. That translates into great shelf life, so it lasts longer in the refrigerator. I've noticed that. I've only been with the company 4 months, and it was sort of the thing that really blew me away, is just how beautiful the product looked, even after several days in the refrigerator. So it lasts a long time there. And it's just a beautiful product on the plate, and that's what consumers want, and they're willing to maybe pay a little bit more for that.
Let me ask you just lastly a trend question here, maybe predating the outbreaks that we've had and the effects that's had on kind of consumer appetite, if you'll pardon the pun. But what are the kind of leafy greens that you're kind of branching into or see more popularity in? I mean, this outbreak started with iceberg lettuce. We are in a world where that's on one end of the spectrum. There are so many other options that people are now buying for their salads.
Well, yeah, I think you've seen the explosion in salad kits in particular, which are growing at significant rates of double digits. And so consumers are looking for salad kits that have, whether it's spinach or red lettuce or romaine or a crispy green leaf that are then packaged with salad dressings and croutons and other things that help to provide a full meal. That's really exploding and really driving a lot of the business in our area.